Welcome to this Stockboxed interview with Dynasty eSports, where we welcome both co-founders Matthew Lodge and Crispin Tristam. Hello both, how are you doing?
Doing good, thank you. Doing well.
Great, thank you very much for joining us. Where are you calling from today? Start with you, Matthew.
I'm actually in Singapore at the moment. Well, been in Singapore and not really moved for the last 8 months.
Yeah, no one's moving a lot really these days, are we? It's the nature of the game that we're in. And Crispin, where are you calling from?
I'm in Indonesia, and sort of likewise been sort of here for roughly around about, say, 8-9 months as well, but in Indonesia.
Okay, thank you very much for your time this morning. So Dynasty, we got introduced to you through Blue Star, and we've had Blue Star on a podcast and an interview before. And Blue Star are one of an earlier investors into your company, I believe. So can we start with sort of a little bit about Dynasty and where the idea came from, a bit of a synopsis of what you guys are about?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. So I guess this kind of journey started around about 5 years ago. Excuse me. I was running a telco consulting firm, predominantly focused on Indonesia, Philippines, Myanmar, Malaysia, India, markets around Singapore region. Crispin was running digital for the largest telecoms operator in Southeast Asia. One of the things he'd done, one of the things he'd developed was a gaming and eSports platform ecosystem that had been enormously successful. And throughout that time, we became friends. We did a little bit of business outside of that gaming ecosystem. And we always thought it would be a really good idea because that was a state-owned or partly state-owned concern. If we could take that idea, improve upon it, and turn it into a white label kind of B2B model, and essentially, take it to other markets in the world. So that kind of came to fruition end of 2008, end of 2019, actually, when we were approached by Blue Star about putting some money into an esports startup. We'd been having some conversations with people that introduced us to Blue Star. And they were the first money through the door. So it was seed capital. It was high risk at the time. And ongoing conversations happened with some people around the region that wanted this platform idea. And the first people we were speaking to was the Malaysian Esports Federation. So government-linked regulator, the National Association for All Gaming and Esports in Malaysia. And the model was we could build and deliver a platform that would control and host all esports events and anything to do with esports through Malaysia. We raised a little bit of money. As I say, Blue Star was the first money through the door. We started working on building a platform. We raised a little bit more money when lockdown happened because things really kind of accelerated in that esports world then. Long story short, in June, we signed a 5-year agreement with the Malaysian Esports Federation to be the exclusive platform provider, provide the national esports platform, essentially, which is how we kind of always envisaged it. And then we embarked upon doing, call it a Series A. It was a $2 million raise on a 10 mil valuation. Blue Star followed on. They kept their 13%, so they kept their pro rata holding. And since that time, we've managed to sign 3 other deals. So we are launching our platform with the Middle East's largest telecommunications carrier across 3 countries in the Middle East next week. So that's keeping us very, very busy. We are launching in Jan-Feb with a major UK-based franchise association. As I say, Jan-Feb. We're also doing one in France in January, February, again, a franchise model. And we've got line of sight. So that's 4 deals that we've already signed. 3 of them we're already billing for. 1 more we start billing in January. And we've got line of sight on deals with either telecommunications carriers or large organizations, franchise or commercial organizations in Mexico, Brazil, Canada, Australia, and the Philippines. The model is we're purely B2B. We brand our platform, our white label platform for our clients. They run the front end. We deliver that platform. We manage it in the back end. We can provide monetization consulting, and we do that very, very often. And we kind of move to the next market. So what we're looking to do is partner with somebody that can have, I guess, the dominant platform in a certain market, and we're targeting as many kind of major gaming markets as we possibly can. And to take it back to where we first started, the model that we looked at was what Crispin had developed over a 4-year period in Indonesia, which essentially became the default national platform, and it's still the model, and probably the best model in the world for this type of business. It had 60 million registered users. It had 20 million monthly active users, and at this stage, it generates about 44% of all of the earnings of that telecommunications carrier, which again is the largest one in Southeast Asia, and accounts for about 77% of its high-value customers. So, really great model. We see this, I guess, as a really kind of a moment in time that all of these things have come together to create this environment. We think there's some competition coming down the line in, well, we hope not for long, but we certainly think 18 months, 24 months. So we're going as quickly as we can. We're going to be profitable in Q1 next year. We think January, possibly February, on an operating basis. We're well capitalized. We've got a great team. We're in a really good spot. We're very excited about what we're doing.
It sounds like it, and it certainly sounds like you've been very busy, and there's a lot going on there. And from what I know, when we've talked to Blue Star, they pick some good companies as you say at seed level to invest in. It sounds like they've perhaps got another one here with Dynasty. I wonder if we can just focus a little bit on the actual market for sort of eSports and gaming. I think it's a relatively new concept. Could you explain? What sort of the end product is, what is esports, and your current market, and your USP.
Maybe I can take that one if that's okay. I mean, sort of the esports, sort of per se is it's a standalone part of the gaming ecosystem, but it's also a really integral part of the ecosystem. So I mean, we see ourselves more of a gaming ecosystem as opposed to just being esports. So if I just take a step back and look at, say, for example, Western Europe, the Western Europe's got roughly somewhere between around about, say, 230 million registered gamers, and that's putting in a revenue of this year around about, say, $27 billion for Western Europe. Then you go to Asia, you've got Asia's got around about, say, 1.2 billion registered gamers who basically play a game once a day. And the revenue from Asia is around about $72 billion. Global revenue, $150 billion. So combine box office, combine Hollywood, combine music, add them all together, it's still not as big as the global gaming market in itself. So the market itself is a big market. There's lots of users, but there's a few sort of trends that are quite interesting. And this is why, for our proposition, we think we're fitting a bit of a sweet point. When you actually look at gamers, the actual gamers a few years ago, say, for example, 5 years ago, the gaming market has gone through exponential growth in terms of users and also in terms of actual revenues as well, especially in the Asian market and the mobile first markets as well. So if you look at, say, for some of the mobile first markets in Latin America, in Africa, in India, and also Asia as well, where up to sort of with very much of a mobile first market, mobile gaming is really big. And what I mean by that is roughly across those markets, you get roughly around about 19 hours of screen time on a mobile phone. So people stare at their mobile phone more than they do the TV. So that is the entertainment device for them. You then go into, say, segments below 35, and it goes up to around about 25 hours. Then you ask yourself the question, well, what are they actually doing on that mobile phone? If you actually look at the screen time they're doing, the screen time on the mobile phones, and telcos will tell you this, around about 30% of screen time, and again, it depends on segments, is people playing mobile games. So it's more than video, it's more than social media. Social media is actually going backwards in some of these countries. So, for example, in Malaysia and Thailand, and also some Latin America, social media consumption of social media is actually beginning to decline, and the game is increasing. So there's a real demand in terms of. So then the macro level is, this is the big market anyway, and it's dominated by probably somewhere between 5 to 7 players globally. So it's ripe for disruption. And then you've also got the added trend that people are using these platforms, using gaming, and they want to drive it. So the proposition that we give to telcos and also major brands is an ability for them to actually engage with their customers, engage with gamers, and drive revenue, incremental revenue from gaming through selling gaming products, moving up that ecosystem and creating media through advertising as well. But also, more importantly, for some of our customers, some of our clients, they want to use this as a way to retain and also attract high-value gamers onto the network, which it makes sense. I mean, so if I'm a telco, and I've got someone who's doing he's playing a lot of mobile games, and they're on the telco as well. Not only are they spending a lot, driving revenue through their gaming consumption, but they're driving revenue through data and also with other products as well. So people want to have them on their network as well. And then that's the macro trends. The other aspect is at the moment you're seeing this real drive for community amongst the gamers, and there's a lack of localized platforms and esports platforms that are owned by big brands. So on a domestic basis. So if you go from market to market to market, around about 85% of the gaming revenue in certain markets basically goes overseas. And that's a story in Southeast Asia, it's a story in Latin America, but there are no dominant local players. So unlike advertising or video, where you have media organizations set up, they aren't there. What we do is we provide a tool, and a ready-made toolkit for those local, what I would call consumer-facing big brands with large customer bases, to basically move into this market very quickly and monetize very quickly.
Okay, so just so I understand the model correctly, Dynasty has an online platform where people can go to game and to engage with esports. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. So it's a bit more than that. So there's what we have is a total community. So it's an online across the web, a mobile web, and Android and iOS. You can set up tournaments. You can watch tournaments. Okay. You can participate in tournaments. So you don't need to be an event organizer. This is basically my mother could do it. Okay. I can do it. So it's a very easy. It takes roughly somewhere between 90 seconds to around about, say, 2 minutes to set up a tournament. Mm-hmm. We are cafe owners as well. That's one aspect what it does. We also support voucher stores. So for organizations to actually sell products and gaming products as well. So the monetization. There's also articles and news feeds. So in essence, to drive people so for gamers want to find out about what's hot in the gaming world, to watch videos, mm-hmm. and driving that traffic to the platform as well. So we do that as well. And we also support basically sort of like the community as well. So for gamers to talk to each other as well. So it's a one-stop shop.
Yeah, I think you've used the word ecosystem before. That and what you've just said there explains that very well. So the deals that you've done with the telecommunications companies, how do they come into it? Do you stream stuff as well? Is that right or not?
They come into it basically. So we provide them the ecosystem, and the platform, which they basically brand under their own brand. They use that. So for example, in the UK, it'll be EE or BT. If we were to do a deal with EE, we'd create a branded location for them, platform for them. They'd run tournaments on that platform. They'd use it to engage their customers. We have a loyalty engine. We have a proprietary loyalty engine inside our platform as well, so we can link that through them as well. And I think that what's winning us business and setting us aside is, I guess, probably how nimble we are to our speed to market. Mm-hmm. And the other aspect is some of the technology and the smarts that we've got, which other people haven't been able to crack. So I'll give you one example. I don't want to give you too much away, sure. But I'll give you one example, is the ability to actually do prize money. So we, within our platform, when you set the prize money, once you're setting up a tournament, is actually held within the platform itself in escrow. And so players automatically get given the prize money, which it doesn't sound so much of a big deal, but when you look at the world of esports, there's a pretty unfortunate trend that happens in some territories, by which unscrupulous esports organizers set up a tournament. They say there's going to be a large esports prize money or prize pool, drives a lot of attention, drives a lot of traffic. They monetize that. Players play, and at the end, there's basically no one gets paid the prize money and prize pool. With us, we're actually basically creating much more structure behind that, and that's something that we've done with our federation partners, and it's really important for them as they start to create more structure, and a more professional aspect. And I think probably just a key stat for you is if you look at the gamers, and as I mentioned, in Western Europe, there's around about 250,000 active gamers, and in our region, that Matterhorn, there's over 1 billion. Roughly, around about 60% of gamers are interested in participating in esports, but only 10% have. Because the current platforms at the moment, it's very hard to actually sort of do a self-service gaming platform. What we've built is ability for small teams and clubs, etc., to run it themselves.
Simplified way of describing it, and what we say to our partners and potential customers, Mark, is that what we've developed basically is a mass market, community-based gaming and esports ecosystem to acquire, retain, and monetize their customers, and we do it under our partners' brands rather than our own. So we're not B2C, we're purely B2B, and we're just doing that. So I think another thing that sets us apart as well, at least from a commercial standpoint, is we're actually making money. As I say, we're going to be profitable in Q1 2021, because every deal that we do, we charge a monthly SaaS fee, and they tend to be 24-month contracts minimum.
Well, that brings me nicely onto the business model itself. So you've got a revenue. Are you profitable? What is the business model looking like? How is it tracking commercially? Do you need to raise any more money? And what's the pipeline looking going forward?
Okay, so the intention is to not raise any more money. We're well capitalized at the moment after our last raise. Mm-hmm. We're not profitable right now, but we're very close to it. We're break even on an operating basis. But we're using a portion of the funds that we recently raised to invest in technology, which is obvious for a tech business. One more deal, which we've got certainly line of sight on 3 more deals over the next month or so, will take us into that monthly profitability on an operating basis, and we see that happening from January onwards. As I say, we don't plan on raising any more money at this stage. We don't think we'll need to, which isn't to say that if we are already getting approaches by some of the big global publishers. Mm-hmm. If it's strategic, we would consider it, but we don't need to go back to the well and raise additional funds to be able to operate our business. We're in good shape, and we'll be generating free cash flow despite continuing to invest in our platform from about March next year. Is our latest view on that. Okay,
good. So that sounds very good. So just to finish then, what's the roadmap look like, let's say, for the next 12 months in terms of the business and in terms of from a technology perspective as well?
Well, I'll let Crispin answer the technology part of that question. From a business perspective, look, we want to be in a position, we've set ourselves some fairly aggressive targets. There's a number of reasons for doing that. We've already mentioned that we seem to be fairly unique in the market at the moment. We're well aware that might not last forever, and so we need to move very quickly, and we are moving very quickly. So we anticipate having 12 SaaS deals out in the market across the world by September, October next year, and at which time we anticipate having annual revenue of around the $10 million mark.
Okay. Great. Okay. Fantastic. And Crispin, on the technology, what does that look like for the next 12 months?
Well, our objective is to make sure that basically that we are the best esports ecosystem globally. So we're investing very heavily into technology. We're investing heavily into AI. We're investing heavily into API stacks as well. So there's a number of different investments making across that as well. And it's basically to improve the automation and linking behind that as well, the platform. So there's a investment behind that. We're looking to increase our, I guess, the ability for our customers to actually monetize the platforms as well. there's a number of different areas we're looking to actually move up the gaming value chain, move up the gaming value chain as we build out these platforms. It does a couple of things. It drives obviously success for our customers. It also allows us to basically have an ecosystem of us to actually push other products and gaming products to these platforms in partnership with our partners, and that's something we're looking at as well. So I don't want to say too much at this point, but our platform business, and there's a stream around investment around our platform business, as I mentioned, around AI, and also basically how we drive that forward. But there's also, you'll be hearing fairly shortly around how we move into and expand our product portfolio. So not just beyond sort of different business models, but actually into different categories.
Okay. Well, that's Matthew and Crispin, who are the co-founders of Dynasty eSports. Thank you very much for your time. It certainly sounds like you're at a very exciting stage in the business, in a new and emerging sector. And I look forward to following the story, and I'm sure we can catch up again in the not too distant future.
Great. Thanks, Matt. It's been a real pleasure. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mark. Real pleasure.
Thanks, then. Thank you for listening to this Stockbox interview. For more information, interviews and videos, visit our website at stockboxmedia.com or give us a follow on Twitter by searching @StockboxMedia.